Welcome to your weekly astrology forecast. My name is Adeana. I'm an intuitive astrologer, and in this week's forecast, we will be going over the energy for February 17th to the 23rd, already the end of February. And at the end of this week, we have Mars finally stationing direct. So we will be going over all of this energy. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe if you align with my energy and enjoy my content. So we now have Mercury in Pisces, adding to all of the other Pisces energy that we currently are navigating. Mercury ruling our mind and mindset, communication, way of thinking, decision making. Mercury does not do the greatest in Pisces. Mercury is at detriment and fall. So this means Mercury does not have the tools it needs to function properly. So over the next few weeks, it might be quite difficult when it has to do when it has to do with focusing, or this is very much an energy of not necessarily thinking logically or analytically, but more on gut feelings, intuition. And it's very emotionally driven as well. So we want to keep that in mind while we are navigating the energy over the next few weeks with this Mercury in Pisces. Now, what this can be great for is creativity, imagination, dreams, and yes, intuition. But when it does have to do with decision making or thinking logically, focusing, that is where things can become quite challenging. On Tuesday, February 18th, we have the Sun entering Pisces, adding even more energy into this Pisces area of our lives, individually and collectively. But we also want to keep in mind with that North Node in Pisces that the nodes primarily respond to and react to the Sun and the Moon. So whenever we have the Moon passing over the nodal points or the Sun, that is when that nodal energy really gets amped up. And we're going to have a new moon in Pisces next week on the 27th, where it's not going to be an eclipse, but it is going to feel like an eclipse. It's going to hold the power of an eclipse. And I will be posting a separate forecast going into that energy. But that new moon in Pisces is going to be quite intense. This is going to be setting the setting the stones for this 18-month story, setting the stepping stones for the next 18-month story that will be playing out with this nodal journey that you're in. I talk a lot about how when we have eclipses or energy activating the nodes or the signs that the nodes are in, where we have new energy coming in for the story that is playing out in your life, in this area of life, wherever you have this Virgo Pisces axis. And so this new moon that we will have in Pisces next week, and also whatever energy we have kind of moving through Pisces is going to add to that energy, add to that story. Mercury now being in Pisces is going to bring in information. It's going to bring in conversations. And so, this really is a time where we want to be journaling because there's so much Pisces energy. Things may not seem significant now, but will play out over the next 18 months in a very significant way. We have so much energy in Pisces right now that it is just so important to have self-awareness, and really it can be so easy right now to want to avoid, want to escape. So if you do struggle with those things, those types of behaviors or patterns or cycles, you do want to be cautious with this energy. It can be quite difficult to navigate, but with self-awareness, we absolutely can. So it's just something to kind of know. Now, on a positive note, Pisces is very spiritual, very intuitive. So this energy is great for spiritual work, diving deep into your intuition and creativity. This energy is going to be great for creating, whatever it is that you want to create. Imagination, this Pisces energy. Dream work can be, really great with this energy. So we want to make sure that we're utilizing the Pisces energy in a positive way and paying attention to where those kind of not so positive, lower vibrational ways can sneak in and present themselves. And with that self-awareness, we're able to kind of pinpoint when that can happen and transmute that. Now on Thursday, February 20th, we have quite an interesting conversation taking place and energetic alignment. We have Mercury in Pisces at 11 degrees forming a square to Jupiter in Gemini at 11 degrees. Now we know Jupiter is the ruler of Sagittarius, and at that same time, the moon is going to have just entered Sagittarius. So there's this really interesting conversation taking place with like the moon, Jupiter, and Mercury in the Pisces, Gemini, Sagittarius areas of our life. And this rules communication, adventure, but it's more emotionally driven. So we do want to be careful. This is where something can be presented that we are wanting to react in a very emotional way. So we definitely have to be careful of that. We want to make sure that we have all the facts straight because it is that Mercury and Pisces energy. There may be something that we're overlooking, something that we're not seeing clearly, or it could just be that we are getting too much information at once, or too much is kind of dumped on us at once, and we don't know how to process that. We don't know how to kind of navigate that properly in a sense. And we want to keep in mind that for the entire week this week, we pretty much have Mars at a standstill because Mars is getting ready to station direct. So when it has to do with that motivation, willpower, and drive, and really being assertive, we don't have that supportive energy right now. So I just don't want you guys to, knock yourself or feel bad about yourself because you don't have that to kind of like get going and move forward, because we just don't have the supportive energy at the moment. You really have to just go with the flow. We're really in this energy of going with the flow. On the 23rd, we're going to have Mars stationing direct, and it's even going to take some time after that for Mars to gain that momentum. So throughout the whole week this week, we just want to keep in mind Mars is at a standstill. Now on the 23rd, when Mars stations direct, Venus reaches the degree point that she's going to station retrograde about 5 days later. So we get about 5 days of Mars direct, and Venus will pretty much be at a standstill, and then Venus will station retrograde. So even that, we're in this energy of a lot's going to be presented collectively, I think, and a lot of planets don't have the necessary tools they need to function properly because they're either at detriment or fall. So that adds to some of the difficult energy that we're navigating as well. Now on the 23rd, on Sunday, the same time that we have Mars stationing direct, we are going to have the moon in Capricorn approaching in opposition to Mars. And we are also going to have Mercury in Pisces forming a trine to Mars. So this is very interesting because at the time that Mars stations direct, having a trine to Mercury in Pisces shows there's going to be some type of conversation, and because this is in water signs, it's very emotionally driven or emotionally reactive. There can be a lot of information coming out at this time that spikes a lot of emotions. There can be a lot of conversations that spike a lot of intense emotions. So Sunday, we definitely want to pay attention to what is presented, whether it's collectively and the information that we're being told, or just in our own individual lives with conversations that we're having. I find this really interesting that Mercury's also approaching a conjunction to Saturn. They're about 3 degrees away because at this point Saturn's at 20 degrees of Pisces and Mercury's at 17 degrees of Pisces. But there's definitely something presented at this time, whether it's information being told or whether it's a conversation that you're having in your own individual life that is sparking an emotional response, whether it's internally, whether you express that, but pay attention to what's showing up for you on Sunday. Now, having the moon in Capricorn really gives us the ability to kind of stay grounded with our emotions. It helps balance this energy out a little bit, which is nice. But we still want to be careful of, what's kind of going on here with this Mercury-Mars trine at the time that Mars stations. It's almost like really wanting to take action in a very emotional way. Now, one more thing that I want to just touch on before I end this forecast. This forecast is going to be kind of quick and to the point because there's not too much going on this week, but we have Saturn entering new territory. Saturn is going to move past its post-shadow period. Saturn stationed retrograde at 19 degrees of Pisces. And so this week we have Saturn entering 20 degrees of Pisces. So if you think back to June of 2023, what you've been moving through in this area of life when it has to do with commitments, responsibilities, hard work, dedication, all those Saturnian energies and themes, this is where now there's more presented. There's more work to be done. There's more on this last decan of Pisces as Saturn enters and gets ready to, in the next few months, enter Aries. But what have you been moving through, since June of 2023, the last 2 years? What have you been moving through in this area of life when it has to do with new responsibilities, new commitments, a new journey that you're embarking on? Now is when there's new territory, new energy to work with, possibly new themes showing up in this area of life, events showing up, experiences, situations. So we also want to, keep that in mind as well with this Saturn in Pisces energy. As Saturn enters the last decan of Pisces, there can be new commitments showing up. There can be new responsibilities presented, new opportunities for more responsibilities and commitments presented, depending on where this lies in your personal birth chart. All right, so I hope this gives you a bit of an idea of some of the energies that we are navigating for this week. I wish you an amazing week and just stay grounded with all this Pisces energy, do some intuitive and spiritual work and try your best to not react emotionally. We're in this energy of just go with the flow. Don't be too hard on yourself if you don't have the energy to start moving forward in certain areas of your life. If you can, just sit with the energy and because it's we have a lot of planets in detriment and fall. It's not necessarily the easiest time. It's not going to be necessarily the easiest energy to work with. So journal, keep note of everything kind of being presented and showing up in your life. And if you have any questions, you can always put them in the comments below. But thank you so much for joining me, and I will connect with you all in the next one.